How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. I decided to play a little more. But when this gets uploaded, it may be a few days after or right after. I don't know. Depends on what I decide to upload and what time I have. We gotta return to game. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quite good. Maybe finish her lunch first and makes a contented noise. And that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that. Sorry. With a flourish, she reached into her bag and removes a tray of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be a cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with pink color scheme, and keeps a equally pink box to some kind of fruit punch for herself. Rin dexterously stabs her straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I'm once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comments to myself. Somehow I don't think either Amy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conscious decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So Hisao, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places. For the view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for the lunch, too. Amy grins a 1,000-watt grin. Pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve! She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I would just keep eating lunch all alone. I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rending puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Amy pouts. Kidding! I was kidding! I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location and the company's okay too. Amy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but seems happy enough that I have accepted her invitation. I guess this makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling our return up downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're going to fade away. Rin shrugs, as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes once again. I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there are on Tuesday. All the more evident from the almost total silence enveloping the room. Why was that difficult for me to pronounce? As I dropped the books I'd borrowed into the return slots in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the bang they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Ah, sorry Yuko, didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine, it happens a lot. I'm used to it by now, didn't seem like it. Can I help you? It's okay, I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyway. Oh, what? What did I press? What the hell's this? I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelf for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come out of it. And there she is, surprisingly, though she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against her intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. I do not disturb her like last time. After an amount of time spent perusing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With the minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, Sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. Feeling utterly drained, I head to my room to read the books I borrowed. There's been enough action and excitement for one day already. Books, huh? I guess I can, like, pretend to have a book somewhere. This seems like a good book! Dark Souls! Why do I have a Dark Souls book, you think? Because, why not? Dark Souls is a difficult game, and I might need help to, like, progress in that game. But, I haven't started that game. I haven't really started that game. Even though I had that game for, like, a year now? I think a year. Or maybe that. Very long time, at least. The first of the Alice Adventures in Wonderland. I know the story, of course, but I never actually read the original book. It's just as trippy as I remember the story to be. With the wacky characters and nonsense plot. I start thinking of myself as some kind of Alice too. Haplessly tumbling down the rabbit hole into this crippled wonderland. Okay, that's a rather strong expression. Still, the isolated location of the... What's my drink? Of the overt way of school accommodates to absolutely everything is unsettling. It is like another world. I wonder why I can't shake the feeling of being an outsider like Alice, despite most everyone being so hospitable and friendly with me. Turning another page, my mind starts drifting further away from the book. It's quiet, and I can hear my heartbeat thumping against the fabric of my shirt. For some reason, it makes me feel really bad, like it has since the time in the forest with Iwanako. Like I was locked in a cage with something nasty and scary. I put the book down for a while and stare at the ceiling, taking my time to shake off the feeling. 200 pages later, I fall asleep. Katawa Shoujo. I guess this is eye catch. Do 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 do. Oh, he skipped the morning run? The students are... Oh, maybe he skipped it because of the incident yesterday. This is running to class for the Saturday morning session. Each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people that have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until the lunch break, and then our time is our own. Muto lurches into class with a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some pages and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in the class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to the work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizune aren't present. Probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak for you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mutu approaching my desk. Sure. What's this about? It's probably better if you speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him into the hallway. Muto stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say. Not knowing what's going on, I wait silently. I heard from the school head nurse that you had an incident the other day. Ah, so it's about that. Well, kind of, but it's not anything to be worried about. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Anything that can endanger your health is something to be worried about. We try our best here to prepare you for your life here. Part of that involves knowing your limits and how to work around them. It would be remiss of me if I didn't speak up about this. All right, I get it. I'm sorry. Puto closes his eyes in frustration, and I realized that this probably wasn't the best thing to say. Something tells me you're not sorry. Pretend as much as you want, but this isn't a normal school. A lot of people have put a lot of time, effort, and money to make sure that you and every other student here can have the same level of education as your peers. For you to abuse that by throwing out advice, especially medical advice, is plain selfish. I'm not quite sure if this is actually how he feels, or if it's something to act that he has practiced many times to guilt trip students into doing the right thing. Either way, it's working. I understand this is all new to me, and I apologize. I know my limits now, and I'll be sticking to them. Mutu appears to lighten up a little, satisfied with that his message has been received. So then, into my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mutu taps his chin and raises an eyebrows as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there's still students out there that realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you got to keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. I wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them means nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Muto's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think, in hindsight, that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's go back inside, shall we? My belief of this suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Muto pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students ever said that to me before. For an instant, I considered replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. Oh, a few other students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on this question on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped in the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Muto does not even notice them. He returns to the desk and retrieves the scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got him there too. The class returns to the near silence that Muto and I left it in before our chat. Mixed feeling of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparation on the way. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away, until finally the bells cry out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers of those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still accurately aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the question so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. Oh, hi Hanako. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lili. It's weird that Lili comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least normally harder for her than it is for Hanako. It's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either. So an apprehensive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns off the novel she's reading. My pencil let splinter against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sound of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feels like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lili's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Zup! Her name is all. It takes to make Hanako jump in front of a desk and run to Lili. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lili leaves down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of my corner of my eye, of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently comes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching in her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must have been quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessly shuffling in her seat and trying to read, Hanako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished, and there is nothing else to do in the classroom. Blah, blah, I can't sit still. Not that I have anything to do anymore. Anywhere else either. The school is a beehive of activity, but nobody pays me any heed. I saunter past classrooms filled with students frantically doing this and that, buzzing around under the worker bees. You wouldn't guess the school day is over. It's a bit quieter outside, but not by much. I would say it's louder. People zip by left and right, hurrying as quick as they can, busy and energetic. I feel the opposite. The midday sun seems to be draining all the spirit out of my body, making it feel limp all over. Warm, soft air flows inside my shirt, feeling like a cushion. I yawn lazily, thinking about what to do. I'll drop off my books at the dorms first, and then something I haven't decided yet. Maybe Kenji's in his room. On our way to the dorm, I spot Emi coming my way, running despite not having those weird running prosthetics on. I wave at her, and then she gets us to a stop. Yo, he's out! Spatters of white and green paint adorn her nose and chin respectively. But her smile is wide and as it always seemed. She leans closer to me, amplifying the feeling she's examining me. What you doing? What is this, Phineas and Ferb? What you doing? Nothing really. I don't have anything to do for the festival, and everyone else seems to be doing something important. That's perfect! Then you can help me and Rin. With the festival preparation? I'm not so sure if I would be so much of a help. That's fine. I'm not much help either. Amy grabs my wrist and starts dragging me back inside the school quite forcefully. Even her walking speed is more like jogging, making me stumble over myself simply trying to keep up. The stairs slowed Amy down a little. Maybe it's hard to climb with her legs, or maybe she finally ran out of breath. I wouldn't count on that. I'll go back to the third floor and to the seniors hallway, ending up where I left 5 minutes ago. I could just as well have stayed here waiting for Emmy, had I known. So, is Rin working on that mural still? That's right, she needs all that kind of paint and brushes and stuff, so I went to get them from the art classroom. And you need me to help with that? Well, Rin told me you had already helped her, so I thought you wouldn't mind. I see. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic, here I am again, collecting stuff from the art classroom for other people. The room is empty apart from ourselves, and the lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Floating in the air! Amy skips straight back to the back wall, digging out a tiny crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. While she tries to make sense of the scrawled handwriting, I take a close look at the materials lying around here. Dozens of paint cans and bottles are arranged on the shelf in the most unorganized fashion. Some look like they have been left there for several decades, relaxed in previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing paper are boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. The smells of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing in my nostrils to form that unmistakable scent of art. Amy stutters her notes, comparing them to the markings of the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She stretches her neck to look on the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Her eye level stays below the shelf no matter what she does. Amy gives up and just looks up to her shelf longingly, like a child at the toy store, huffing in annoyance. After a moment of building anger, she starts jumping up and down, apparently trying to speed read the labels during the fraction of a second she can see them, and catch what you can. It's no surprise that she fails miserably and almost managed to bring the entire shelf crashing down. Now I see why me lending a hand here would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough, and I don't want you to get hurt trying. So, also, I'm like twice your height. You are not! She turns around, flaring scorn, flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding. Anyway, I'll look up there, okay? She glares at me one more time, but can't come up with a retort. With a grudging turns her back to me. So I begin scrounging around the top shelf for paint while below. Amy crouches to scavenge what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little, after double checking to ensure that she can't see me do so. Amy having a complex about her height was a surprise. I wouldn't have joked about it otherwise. She seemed easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. So she's concerned about her height. Oh, right, there we go. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out of the desk like a treasure hunter spoils. I do realize that it wasn't necessary the height jab and got her riled up. So she might not like to be told that she can't do something like jump. But Amy herself seems to have forgotten all about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive. She's that type of person. At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything too hard, as she chatters away happily while we pick up the rest of the items and then make our way back to Rin. I chivalrously carry the bulk of materials and we make our way towards the dormitories. Rin is really stressed about getting her painting done. It's her own fault though. She should have started earlier. Is she going to make it? No idea. It looks good to me, but with Rin, you never know what's going on. I found her this morning lying in front of the dorm in fetal position. She hasn't slept all night. I can't believe that the night nurses hadn't found her. And now she's painting again like crazy. Yeah, I noticed that she's come off as kinda unhinged, so to speak. Amy giggles at that, as well as my likely too obvious awkwardness. I don't mind it, she's just a little weird sometimes. Oh, on that I can agree with her. Unlike me, Amy seems to be cool with Rin's whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, I don't feel close like Misha and Shizu do. Them working as a single entity sometimes. It's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. Even though they're so different, just like Amy and Rin are. And Rin is almost different of them all. It's the most different of them. Oh crap. Everyone else I've met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I return to the word again, as if it encompasses Rin's personality by itself, but really it's just a substitute for the lengthy description of her authenticity. Amy giggles like grasp about the properly descriptive word. She's just weird. You know, earlier she just spent half an hour sitting on her box and staring at her toes. She giggles again and like way she made blah 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 blah, funny about it blah blah. All the time! The working area is a mess, but the mural itself has taken even more of the wall since I last saw it. The disfigured human figures has been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange. Weird, imaginary things populated the species between. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that could describe the word concisely and comprehensively, so I settled myself on a nondescript nice. But honestly, it seems like the area around the wall becomes untidy at the same rate that the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Rin herself is in the center of this chaos, standing there looking very cozy as if she was a natural part of the scene. Her paint legs have been rolled up through her knees, exposing her thin legs, which sports a drying spectrum of war paintings similar to those on Amy's face. Amy sprints to Rin ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her. I'm back! That was fast. You ran into the corridors again. Hisao helped me. Amy points victoriously at me. Rin turns around, following Amy's finger with her eyes, looking at my general direction. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hasn't slept since last night. A vacant, glazed stare that focuses slightly off me, and movements like in a slow-motion movie. Hello, Hisao. Thank you for the help. Don't mention it. I just did. Never mind. Looks like you made progress. Looking good as far as I can tell. But now you got more bad luck. I know, but I'm willing to take the risk. That's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course, not for you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look for their unfinished paintings. So artists can't find romance. Their favorite TV shows are cancelled, or they die young because of unspecified disease. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they're blind. She continues this a while, looking like she's going to fall asleep. This is a boy. There is a boy. At the art club, you see. Blind boy. So he doesn't see. He should become an artist, no bad luck guaranteed. Did you think that would be a good idea? That only blind people should become artists? No, not as such. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune that I think I recognize, but can't remember the name of. Amy arranges the supplies we brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organizations to the scene. Amy, I need the Prussian blue paint. Which one's Prussian blue? She's staring helplessly at 7 or 8 cans, each with different tone of blue. It's the one with Prussian blue paint on it. Jeez, Rin, you're not helping at all. I look around as well, even though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like either. I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia, or what Prussia even is. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. While none of the blues looks more Prussian than the others, the small print of the labels are legibly enough to determine that none say anything about the contents being Prussian. There's no Prussian blue here. We need to go get more then. I open my mouth to say that actually, but we're not both needed for such a simple task like finding another pot of Prussian blue. But Amy's already grabbed my arm and started dragging me off. I wave to Rin, who doesn't seem to have noticed the two of us are even leaving. Well, she'll notice when she goes for her Prussian blue and finds out it's still not there. Maybe. Probably not actually. While I'm busy thinking of how weird Rin is, Amy's been dragging me back to the art classroom. I feel myself starting to run out of breath. What's the rush? Huh? Amy giving me a appraising look as she's trying to figure out something out. It's just that you seem to be in a hurry. I'm not sure I can keep up. Comprehension drums to her face. You're not out of breath, are you? There's almost an accusing playfulness in her tone. I attempted to deny it, but then I realized that I've been breathing heavy since we stopped. Guess it's kind of obvious. A little. Not everybody can be in shape, you know. Takes all kinds, right? Amy frowns. It's not a particularly good frown. That is, I should get in shape. Not that I hadn't already decided to try for that. After that flop on the track, I just figured it's a real need to get in some sort of running habit. I was, after all, feeling pretty good until I had my false alarm. Well, actually it wasn't, but it was fun. Meanwhile, my comment seems to have helped Amy come to some sort of decision. Well, that's it then. She gives me a serious look. You're joining me. I beg your pardon? In the mornings, you and I are now running partners. I got a routine all planned out, in fact. She produced a I got it right here with me. I take the sheet of paper and give it a once over. Time, dates, and laps all laid out. A slow increase from just a few laps a day to... Oh my god. Does she expect me to have running marathons? Or where did she find the time to get this all together? And how long has she been planning this anyway? You've been planning this? A little. But it's really the nurse's idea. He told me to keep an eye on you to make sure you're exercising like he told you to. A vast conspiracy? Maybe Kenji's onto something here. Damn it, Kenji. Your prophecies has become true. But it seems a bit much for just keeping an eye on me. Well, to be honest, I've been trying to find a running partner in the mornings for a while now. My god, Kenji! If you could only see the scheme unfolding! What do you need a partner for, anyway? It's easier to keep up the workout if you're not the only one doing it. Isn't that obvious? You're less likely to quit if someone else is counting on you to be there, right? I see. And this won't only keep you running, but it'll make sure that I keep running as well. Meaning that I'll be obeying the nurse. And I'll be keeping an eye on you just like he asked. You caught on quick, Hisao. And if I refuse? I have no intention of refusing, of course. But I got to at least keep our token resistant to such a masterfully executed plan. Well, if you refused, I'd have to pout. And you'd have to live with being the guy who made Amy Ibazaraki pout. You don't want that on your conscience, do you? As if to demonstrate, Amy begins pouting. It is the most adorable, heart-wrenching thing I've ever seen. Well, she's not exactly doing it on my screen. Okay, I'll do it! Just don't do that. I mean, they could make a screen like, I know. I feel like I just hit a puppy. So it's settled, right? You're going to be my running partner. Follow the workout and a dietary plan. Dietary plan? Dietary plan. Yeah, the dietary plan. Am I pronouncing that correctly? You got to eat healthy if you're going to get in shape, you know? I examine the workout routine closely. I don't see a dietary plan here. On here? Oh right, I forgot to give that to you. Another crumpled sheet of paper is produced and handed over. It's somewhat less detailed. I had the nurse help me come up with it. The amount of dedication that nurse has been giving me in a good health is pretty overwhelming. I don't know how many social school nurses who would get one of their students to spy on me, much less help come up with some dietary plan. Then again, I guess I'm not in a normal school, and maybe that's not such a bad idea. Then again, dietary plans seem to cut out just about everything that will be offered at the festival tomorrow. So when does our running start? After the festival? Right after? What if I had something to eat there? I could get a stomachache, you know. I meant the day after the festival. I knew that. Was there something we're supposed to be doing? Oh, I guess we should get to that paint rin. Oh no, that slipped my mind. By the time we get to the I gotta save here. Foot to mouth. Save. Yes. I'm gonna and that's for today's Katawa Shoujo. I recorded 2 episodes. I think I recorded like 30 to 40 minutes or something like that. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you with a high five. You ready for it? Are you ready? Are you ready? Bing! There. Let's take all that. Ah! What the fuck?